Brexiteer Tim Martin triumphantly claimed we will save £10 billion a year after leaving the EU, and the savings will help give a major funding boost to our NHS. During last night's BBC Question Time, the panel was debating how to give the NHS extra funding after Brexit if the UK did not receive the dividend promised by Theresa May when we leave the bitter bloc. However, Tim Martin, the founder of the popular food chain, did not entertain the negative scenario and triumphantly announced we immediately save £10 billion a year when we leave the European Union. The Brexit dividend is the annual contribution the UK pays towards the bloc's budget every year. Once the UK stops paying into the EU budget, the Office for Budget Responsibility, OBR, says there will be savings. The Brexiteer said, "I think this essence of Brexit is that there will be a dividend and the people who voted for it will think there is a dividend. Under the Tories' current plans, the UK will remain a member of the EU until the 29th of March 2019 and will pay into the budget until then. The OBR believes the UK will start saving money from 2020. Mr. Martin continued, "The Australian High Commissioner said no one ever lost out from free trade." Alexander Downer said earlier this week the UK is too gloomy about Brexit. He told the Today programme it is important both the EU and the UK work to maintain free trade, saying outsiders are anxious the UK remains in the EU. The Australians have previous experience of making changes to their international trading patterns after the UK joined the European Economic Community, and the Commonwealth countries had to reorganise their trade. The multimillionaire added, "We pay a lot of tariffs to the EU which is collected on non-EU imports. We will lose those. We will regain control of our fisheries and a raft of other things, which suggests that if we become a free trading nation we will do better. That's a dividend, not a direct one but an indirect one." Question Time veteran David Dimbleby jumped in, asking, "So your dividend isn't the one written on the side of the bus, your dividend is the advantages of leaving and the cumulative effect." Mr. Martin said, "We immediately save £10 billion a year." Mr. Dimbleby, who is set to retire at the end of the year, stopped Mr. Martin and asked him, "Leave Brexit for the moment, who should bear the burden of tax for the NHS?" The pub chain boss responded promptly, saying, "Who actually bears the burden is the good old political agenda, and really that's one for the political parties to decide. Everyone will have to pay a little bit more." Labour's Shadow Health Secretary John Ashworth seemed amused by the businessman's comments and appeared to put his nose up to the Brexiteer's argument. Prior to Mr. Martin's comments, the Labour MP had rambled on uncontested about the NHS funding boost, painting a bleak picture. Mr. Ashworth said, "There isn't going to be a Brexit dividend, it's a Brexit deceit," before adding, "The money is going to be raised by extra borrowing and tax going up, tax that all of us in this room pay."